Yeah, the Nationals may have lost the first two games in Philadelphia. They have been sort of competitive throughout this series, but still, there are two things that I think a lot of Nationals fans should take away from yesterday's game. They're a little concerning.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, I am your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, and of course, the video version of this podcast. Look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. So thank you all for making us your first listen. Later on in today's program, we will be discussing Nats-Phillies Game 3 with Brad Lord on the bump going up against Taijuan Walker. Not the best pitching matchup ever, but still, the Nationals, they have an opportunity to get a win in Philadelphia, and I'll take that. So later on, also, let me just add this, Cade Cavalli may have had a little bit of a setback yet again. They're not really sounding the alarms just yet, but it's something. It's not nothing. I'll tell you more about that later on. Also, Daylen Lile, he got the promotion to AAA Rochester, and it's time to start taking him seriously as he is on the doorstep of making his Major League debut. We'll discuss that and more, but today, first and foremost, may the 1st be with you. God, I hate myself. I tried not to say it, but it's May 1st. May the 1st be with you, and that's it. I'm sorry. Let's get into baseball. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money, and take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Last night's ball game was an interesting one. We went into that game knowing Jake Irvin's pass. He's only had one start at Citizens Bank Park, in which I raved. I was like, guys, Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber in that ball game went 0 for 6 against Jake Irvin. First inning, Kyle Schwarber, 3-run home run, and the Nationals really did not get all that competitive after that. But let's talk more about Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin has actually been really good all season long. And for those who have listened now, we have raved about Irvin for the last few months here on this show. He has the ability to be a solid middle starter for a very good baseball team. That's his ceiling. But one thing that has really struck Jake Irvin over the last few seasons is as the games go on, as he gets deeper into ball games, his velocity has always dipped. And that's not really something that I think a lot of people pay attention to, because they might just think to themselves, well, this is what it's like when you pitch every single day or every other 5 days, whatever it is. But yesterday was particularly kind of concerning. He was sitting in the low 90s, and that's typically where he is when his fastball is working. He's sitting there 93, 94 miles per hour, low mid 90s there. Maybe we'll touch 95, 96 every now and then. But in yesterday's ball game, we saw him throw an 88 mile per hour fastball. And he was sitting 88 to 90 on his fastballs later on in the game. That's not nothing. And I'm not going to sound the alarms because, again, Davey Martinez just said that he was tired and that was all that, and also blamed it on mechanics. I went back and watched the first inning of yesterday's ball game where he was 92, 93. And then later on in the fourth inning when he was 88 to 90 miles per hour. I'm not some expert, but I will say this. I do kind of know baseball mechanics. I played it my whole life. I've watched the Nationals my entire life. I've played the game. I have pitched. There was no mechanic issue that I saw with Jake Irvin in yesterday's game. I'm not here to tell you that you should be concerned, but it is something to watch at this point. But furthermore, with yesterday's ball game, I think that just kind of shows you where this Nationals team is. If you can't get a very quality start from your starting pitcher, this team is in trouble. Because yesterday's ball game, a lot of the issues kind of came out with the Nationals. And really over the first two games against the Phillies, the issues have piled up. In game one of the series, you saw the bullpen. The bullpen blew up, and it was not the best showing. We're kind of used to that at this point over the first month of April. That's been the main focal point, is the Nationals bullpen. But then also, with a bad bullpen, if your starting pitcher does not go deep into games, we're kind of in trouble. And then last but not least, it's the power of this team. The Nationals have actually been overall as a team pretty good in the home run category. They're like top 15 in all of baseball. That's a big improvement from where they have been bottom of the barrel each of the last few seasons here. They have improved hitting home runs, but it has not equated to winning baseball. And I want to get into this because with the designated hitter now, over these last few seasons, you can now have a very good offensive piece who is just strictly here to hit baseballs. That is what Josh Bell's role is here in DC. He is not hitting the baseball, and he is not hitting for power so far. Josh Bell, as of right now, the struggles are very real. And I kind of talked about this in the past. Like Josh Bell, at least with the Nationals and over these last few seasons, he has gotten off to a slow start and overall has gotten hot as the summer comes. But I think that's a lot of hitters overall. But right now, you really have to question where the Nationals are with Josh Bell. How much longer is this going to last? Because again, he is not hitting for power, he is not hitting for average, and he's not getting on base. He is taking walks at a decent rate, but you're not paying him to take walks. You're paying him to hit home runs, and you should not get that twisted. Right now, his exit velocity is in the 14th percentile. Not good enough. It should at least be in the 50th percentile and probably even more than that. His expected slugging is in the 23rd percentile, meaning he is not hitting the ball hard, number one. Number two, he's not hitting for enough power. And it's not just luck either, or unlucky, whatever you want to say it is. It's not that. The Nationals, they need to get more from Josh Bell, and Josh Bell has even said it himself. In yesterday's ball game, he kind of went in after the game, and the Nationals beat reporters, they met with him, and Bell thought that if he is hitting 200, this team is likely around the 500 win mark. And they're close to it. We've seen the Nationals, they can be a scrappy team. You saw it in game one of this series. The Nationals, while they aren't the most talented team out there, and we all kind of know that, they're 13-18. And they could have easily been 14-17 if you win game one of this series and the bullpen doesn't blow up and Keibert Ruiz doesn't have that mess up at home plate for receiving the ball from Dylan Cruz. They're that close. And even then, there's also a couple other bullpen blowups that you could point to and say, if that did not happen, this Nationals team would have been a good opportunity. But I think 2 games ago in game one, that was like the opportunity for Josh Bell to really kind of get his season kickstarted here. Bases loaded, top of the 8th inning, and you strike out there. That was a huge blow for the Nationals. And I think that's kind of been the focal point of Josh Bell so far this season. In big opportunities, he's not coming up. And the Nationals and Davey Martinez, they continue to put him in the middle of the order. It's time to drop him down. You have to. And I understand why Davey Martinez continues to roll him out there, because if Josh Bell is on, and if he's hitting for power, we know what he can do. He's a great hitter. But right now, it's not working. If you feel the need to make changes with Dylan Cruz and drop him down in the lineup, if you feel the need to make changes with Keibert Ruiz and bring him up in the lineup and then drop him back down, you should probably do the same with Josh Bell at this point. You got to start batting him in the bottom order of this team right now. Because again, in last night's ball game, we did not get the job done enough. Batting him 5th in yesterday's game, right in front of Dylan Cruz, right behind Nathaniel Lowe, it was not enough. And I don't want to just pin the blame on yesterday's game against Josh Bell. The Nationals offense was not good. Your only extra base hit was Nathaniel Lowe with a double. And outside of that, you had Abrams with the hit. No one had a multi-hit game. You had Dylan Cruz with 3 strikeouts, Josh Bell with 3 strikeouts, Jose Tena with 2 strikeouts. It was a bad night for the offense. That's going to happen over 162 games. But we now have a month sample of Josh Bell struggling. And there really has not been anything done with it at this point. You continue to roll him out there, and that's that. He's striking out at a rate that he has not done in years past. And also, he is not hitting for power, which is his job. What's going to be the change? For the meantime, drop him down in this lineup. There's really no other way around it. You cannot have him hit above Dylan Cruz and not have Dylan Cruz have some sort of protection in this lineup. Dylan Cruz is one of the key pieces of the future for this team. You're going to have to treat him like that. So having Josh Bell in front of Dylan Cruz, it does no one any good. In fact, Cruz should again be hitting between James Wood and CJ Abrams. That's how it should be. And the Nationals have not gotten that figured out in order to get him some protection here early on in this season. But thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Let's talk about Cade Cavalli. Cade Cavalli's actually looked really good down in his first rehab starts, but just a few days ago, he was pulled really after in like the second or third inning after a not so great rehab start. And I think there is some concern there, but David Martinez, he did speak to the media about it. So let's go over what he said and what we think about Cade Cavalli after we tell you about some of our good friends over at Amazon Fire TV Stick. And did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices, no console required. Just grab your pair controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. And what if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room? Well, with Amazon Fire TV Stick, they provide you just that. Again, you don't need your Xbox. You can just plug into your Amazon Fire TV and start gaming. It's the best way to do it now in the 21st generation. It's here with Amazon Fire TV Stick. So head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. An Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller are required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd generation. Again, head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Later on in this segment, let's talk about Daylen Lile getting the promotion to AAA Rochester. I'm going to tell you why. This guy is close to making his major league debut. But before we jump into that, Cade Cavalli. Cade Cavalli, the 2020 first-round pick by the Washington Nationals, a former top 50 prospect, still a top 10 prospect in the national system. Number one, let's start off by this, because Cade Cavalli is still sitting 96 to 98 miles per hour on his fastball. He was at one point in time, back in like 2021 and 2022, sitting 99 to 100. Cade Cavalli still has the strikeout stuff. He has been piling up strikeouts this season from high A, working his way up to AAA Rochester as of recent. But in his first start with AAA Rochester, he was pulled early. And Mike Rizzo was on with the Sports Junkies just on yesterday's show. And he talked about Cade Cavalli and kind of the setback here. And this is what Mike Rizzo had to say. Quote, yeah, Cade had another rehab start, wanted his progression to return to the big leagues. Felt a little fatigued in the second inning. He was touching 98, so his velocity was good. His stuff was good. Felt a little fatigued, so Matt LaCroix, the AAA manager of Rochester, shut him down, obviously, out of an abundance of caution, because whenever one of those rehab pitchers says anything that's out of the ordinary, we just pull the plug. We'll see where he's at today and when he gets with the team, and we'll continue his progression and his rehab to get him ready to pitch for us in the big league soon. Davey Martinez updated everyone about Cade Cavalli in yesterday's presser and said he felt a lot better than what he anticipated. But still, you got to kind of think to yourself, what is going on here? When is Cade Cavalli going to be back in the major leagues? He's going to make his major league start, and really his second major league start in his career at some point this season. It has to happen. Because I think after missing 2+ seasons practically, he had one rehab start last year, missed all of 2023 after getting Tommy John in spring training. You have to think to yourself, when is it going to end? And when are we going to finally see Cavalli up in the bigs? We knew going into this season that it was going to take some time for him, especially when you're a flamethrower, and that's kind of his pedigree at this point. He's still touching 98 miles per hour. I think at this point in time, though, the Nationals are probably going to take the cautious route yet again. I would not be surprised to see them, I'm not saying shut him down for the entire season, but take a few weeks off here. I still believe in the fact that Cavalli could be a solid starting pitcher in the bigs. And if I think that, I know the Nationals believe in that. Seeing them be cautious like this, it's good, but also it's frustrating. Because it's frustrating for Cade Cavalli. We all want to see him up in the bigs. And number two, it's frustrating for us and for the organization. This is someone who would add a ton of juice in this rotation right now, which, by the way, it's been pretty good. The rotation so far this season, it's been a nice, pleasant surprise for a lot of people. But if you can add the juice of Cade Cavalli in this thing, and let's say Michael Soroka comes back and he's healthy also, this is not a bad rotation. This is a very good one, in fact. And you have some building blocks of this future. Mackenzie Gore, that we saw a few nights ago, looked really good in Philadelphia. Gave up a couple long balls, but that's going to happen against the Phillies. Jake Irvin in yesterday's game gave up that 3-run home run against Kyle Schwarber. Welcome to the NL East. Kyle Schwarber hits bombs against everyone, especially at home against the Nationals. This stuff is going to happen. But at some point in time, I want to see Cade Cavalli, and I want to know what is really going on. And this is all based off of last year, where it was, oh, he has the flu. Oh, he has dead arm. And then all of a sudden, you don't see him after his first rehab start in Wilmington of all of last season. And then everything starts up this year, and it's good as new. It's hard to kind of follow along and keep track of this situation, but it's something that I have not forgotten so far. So what do you think of Cade Cavalli? Let me know. Tweet at me at RyanClary11 or drop a comment in the YouTube section. But let's start off with Daylen Lile. Daylen Lile has been crushing the baseball down in AA Harrisburg, and he has gotten the promotion up to AAA Rochester in his first game. He had a triple in Rochester, and it's time to start taking this guy pretty seriously. At 22 years old, a second-round pick back in 2021, the two high school kids, man, Brady House and Daylen Lile, both in that same draft, both now in AAA Rochester. Brady House, we are anticipating to join the bigs pretty soon here. But Daylen Lile has quietly had a great season yet again. And just 2 years ago, he finished the season batting .270 with an .810 OPS in 106 games. So far this year, in 22 games across AA and 1 game in AAA Rochester, he's batting .316 with an .860 OPS. And also with that in mind, he's got 4 triples, 5 doubles, and 2 home runs. Catch this, though. Not only is he hitting for power, he is also getting it done on the base pass, stealing 6 bags. Last year, he stole 25 bases. And he also plays really good defensively in the outfield also. Robert Hassel III has been a name that we have been watching for a long time here on this show. This is no knock on Robert Hassel III. He is still a very good prospect in this system. But Daylen Lile, he might get the promotion up into the bigs before Robert Hassel does. I do think Hassel will crack the major league lineup at some point this season, but I also think that's going to be the case for Daylen Lile. Lyle is in this position where a lot of people just think he's going to be traded for something at the deadline. Maybe it's not this year, but possibly next year. The Nats have a loaded outfield group. You're going to have the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Also, who knows what the Nationals do in that category there. But you've got Dylan Cruz, you've got James Wood. Those guys are in pen and in Sharpie even over the next few seasons here in DC. Daylen Lile could easily make himself a part of that equation. If he continues to hit the baseball the way that he has over these last few years, Lyle is going to work his way into the major league lineup a lot quicker than what you would think. And I'm just here to say, I'm here for it. And we're going to be talking about a lot of Daylen Lile stuff if he continues to hit the baseball the way that he has this season. And you might be able to see him up in the majors sometime this summer. So that's going to be a really fun story to watch now because, again, a lot of people just thought this guy was going to be a trade piece. I don't think he is. I think he's a real part of this future, and the Nationals, they're certainly excited about him. He's got the skill set that you would want in the bigs. He is good defensively in the outfield. He's a plus hitter. He's got some pop, and he can run the bases. That's some juice that the Nationals need in this lineup. So let's continue to watch out for Daylen Lile. Maybe let's take him off the trade block because I think a lot of fans out there, we've always kind of considered him to be the trade piece right now. I'm not saying that he's not going to be, but still, he's been killing the baseball. I want to see this guy up in the majors, so I'm excited to see what he can do up in AAA, joining Brady House and Robert Hassel and Andrew Pinckney and all the other guys in the top of this system. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Next, let's talk about this. Game 3, Washington Nationals. Brad Lord against Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker is not the most popular guy in Philly. Maybe Brad Lord is. Let's preview that game after we tell you about our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go between dining out and online shopping and entertainment? It's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can check all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. I'm 25 years old, and I can tell you this much. I'm a little bit lazy when I come home from work. I've been noticing that I've been delivering all this food from local providers, and I can tell you this much. It adds up over time, and I noticed that with Monarch Money. They gave me my finances over the past few months here, and I realized I got to start saving, and Monarch Money has helped me do exactly that. And you can manage your money with your partner at Monarch Money or your bank partner and make it smoother than ever. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Taijuan Walker going up against Brad Lord. Brad Lord, again, getting these opportunities for him is a huge deal. Because while he is 0-3 on this young season and has a 4.67 ERA, Soroka going down, while you don't want to, it's not something to be happy about. No one's happy about that. Soroka, you want to see him out there and pitching every 5 days because we have seen him be an all-star pitcher in the past, finished top 10 in the Cy Young race, and he has been a prominent starter in years past. But over these last few seasons, has not. He's on the shelf rehabbing down in the minors. And he probably should be back pretty soon. And this might be Brad Lord's last start in the bigs, but we'll see what happens. So Brad Lord, though, This is now the time. Like, he is going to have to continue to prove himself to this Nationals team. Being an 18th round pick, it's never easy. Luckily for him, now he's not looking the other side of the diamond saying like, well, I'm going against Taijuan Walker. But again, it is a thing. And unfortunately for the Nationals, they don't have that much like work against Walker here. But one guy that we mentioned earlier on this show that has to get going on this offense is Josh Bell. The splits that he has against Taijuan Walker, he's probably the most seasoned guy that has gone against him. And he has a 922 OPS, and he's batted 267 against him in 15 at-bats. He's got that one home run also. You have to think to yourself, this could be the opportunity for Josh Bell to go 2 for 4 or 3 for 4 and have a couple RBIs in there and maybe an extra base hit or even a home run. This could be his opportunity. And I don't want it to be gloom or doom for Josh Bell, because if he does do bad tonight, then it's like we all riot. No, that's not the case at all. But when you see that someone like Bell, who has been really struggling so far this season, been statistically one of the worst designated hitters, and probably the worst designated hitter in all of baseball in the first month of the year, you have to think to yourself, this is the opportunity for Bell to break out. We'll see if he does, but with that in mind, the Nationals, they also have to avoid a sweep. And this is not going to be just some easy game for the Nationals. Even though the Phillies bullpen, they have not been their sharpest this season. And again, the Nationals so far on this young season, they need some help. They're 13 and 18. You don't want to fall to 13 and 19 because again, you got a very, very tough schedule coming up. You are going up against the Cleveland Guardians in just 2 series away. And then also you start your series in Cincinnati tomorrow night. That's not an easy ball club to face with the Cincinnati Reds. They're a streaky one, and we'll see if the Nationals can kind of hang with them and move forward and get some wins under the belt. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's show. Enjoy tonight's game. 6:45 first pitch at the bank. Have a good one. Go Nats.